The Galactic Council chamber was larger than any human had ever seen. It floated in the void between galaxies, built from obsidian metal that shimmered like liquid night. Thousands of alien delegates filled the seats arranged in concentric circles, each representing a world or empire older than human civilization itself. The air inside was cold, vibrating with the hum of alien languages layered over one another in endless, discordant noise. At the center of this grand circle, a single beam of white light shone down upon a small platform. There stood one woman, Ambassador Elena Torres, humanity's representative. She stood alone, dressed not in armor or rich robes, but in a simple dark uniform bearing the crest of Earth. Behind her, a faint hologram of her homeworld rotated slowly, blue, white, and fragile compared to the monstrous shapes that surrounded her. The council speaker, a being of transparent crystal with veins of pulsing blue energy, rose from his seat. His name was Valrith, a creature whose mind spanned centuries. When he spoke, his voice carried through every translation system in the chamber. Species designation, human, he declared. You stand before the Galactic Council under charges of non-compliance with universal disarmament laws, violation of the Technological Sharing Treaty, and refusal to submit to the Accord of Unified Governance. Do you deny these charges? The words echoed like thunder. Every alien eye, compound, reflective, or glowing, turned toward her. Some sneered. Others clicked their mandibles, waiting for the small flesh-and-bone creature to break under the weight of the galaxy's authority. Elena didn't move. She looked straight at Valrith. We don't deny anything, she said calmly, because we never agreed to those laws in the first place. Gasps rippled across the chamber. A dozen translators repeated her words in different dialects. The shock spread like fire. Some delegates leaned forward in outrage. Others murmured in disbelief. Valrith's glow dimmed to a colder hue. You refuse the accord? We refuse submission, she said. Humanity has survived for thousands of years on its own. We have fought wars that burned our own skies. We learned from them. You think peace is given? It's not. It's earned. We made our peace through strength. The council hall erupted. The air filled with overlapping voices. Shrieks, hisses, grinding tones that shook the very metal. The council speaker raised a crystalline hand and silence fell again, heavy and sharp. You misunderstand, Primitive One, Valrith said, his voice low. The accord exists to prevent chaos. Your species has shown dangerous tendencies, expansion, aggression, secrecy. You built fleets when you were told to dismantle them. You hid your technologies from the registry. You defied the council's inspection teams. You have left us no choice. Elena took a slow breath. The light caught the corner of her face, her expression unreadable, her eyes steady. No choice but what? To bring order, Valrith said. To end your defiance. To protect the galaxy from your instability. He lifted a shard of glowing crystal from his desk. The air around it hummed with power. The Galactic Council hereby declares a state of total war against the human species. Every light in the chamber dimmed for one moment as the words echoed across 1,000 networks. The declaration of war, final, binding, unstoppable. Elena didn't flinch. The silence that followed was almost worse than the noise. Then she smiled. Not wide. Just a small, quiet smile that unsettled even those who didn't understand human expressions. You believe this is about order, she said softly, but this isn't peacekeeping. This is fear. You fear what you can't control. You fear what you can't predict, and that's why you'll lose. Laughter rippled through the crowd, deep mocking tones from dozens of species. Lose against you? One delegate hissed. Your planet isn't even interstellar. You still breathe air from one world. Elena tilted her head slightly. And yet, she said, here I am, standing in your council chamber unarmed, surrounded by the most powerful empires in existence, and you still fear us enough to declare war. The laughter stopped. Valrith's glow pulsed brighter. You overestimate your value, human. No, she replied, you underestimate your mistake. For a moment, neither spoke. The council's main window showed the swirling black expanse beyond, where stars looked like cold embers. From here, the galaxy itself seemed fragile. Finally, Valrith motioned to the guards. They were towering insectoid creatures with silver carapaces and energy pikes that crackled with heat. Remove her, he commanded. 2 guards approached, their metallic limbs clicking on the floor. Elena didn't resist. She turned slowly toward them and said, When you look back at this moment, remember something. Humanity never begged. Humanity warned. The guards paused, unsure if the translator had misread the tone. Warned of what? Valorith asked. She met his crystalline eyes. That we don't start wars. We end them. And then she was gone, escorted out through the shimmering doorway. The council chamber erupted again, not in laughter now, but in unease. Some called for an immediate strike. Others urged caution, claiming humans might not be as primitive as they seemed. Hours later, far across the void, the first council war fleet prepared for launch. Massive ships miles long, powered by quantum cores, each capable of erasing a planet. They gathered near the edge of the Sol system, confident, unstoppable. From Earth's orbit, the humans watched in silence. Commander Nathan Reyes, head of Earth's Defense Command, stood inside the orbital platform Atlas Station, surrounded by holographic displays showing the incoming armada. His officers waited for orders, tense and pale. "They've declared war," said one of them quietly. Reyes nodded. "We expected it." The officer frowned. "What do we do now, sir?" He looked out through the viewing window. The blue curve of Earth hung beneath them, peaceful, unknowing. "Now," he said, "we let them come." The council fleet entered the outer system within hours. From Jupiter's orbit, their ships shimmered like metal clouds. Drones scanned the void, searching for resistance. They found only silence. Then slowly, their sensors began to fail. One by one. On board the lead vessel, alien technicians panicked. Their maps twisted, signals warped, coordinates vanished. Mars was missing from the grid, as if space itself had bent. Then their communication relays went dark. The captain shouted for emergency recalibration, but the crew didn't understand what they were seeing. The gravitational field of the system was shifting, being manipulated, and then they saw them. Hundreds of small human ships appeared out of nowhere, without detectable warp signatures. They moved like shadows, silent, fast, cold. No lights, no transmissions, just machines of metal and silence. Before the council fleet could react, the first wave of energy spikes cut through the void, not from lasers or plasma, but from magnetically accelerated rods traveling at near light speed. One impact shattered the hull of a cruiser instantly. The fleet returned fire. The void lit up with color, beams and explosions painting the darkness. But the human ships were already gone, vanishing between gravitational shadows. At the edge of the solar system, a single transmission escaped the chaos. It was short and calm. "This is Earth Command," Reyes's voice said. "We do not seek your destruction, but if you enter our skies, you won't return." The transmission ended. Back in the Galactic Council, Valorith received the first casualty report. Hundreds of ships missing. No wreckage. No survivors. The chamber filled again with whispers, but none dared speak the word that lingered in every mind. Fear. Valorith stared at the hologram of Earth spinning before him. It looked so small, so fragile. "How," he muttered, "can something so young be so dangerous?" No one answered. In the darkness beyond the stars, Earth remained silent. Its fleets had vanished. Its transmission ceased. Yet something about that silence was worse than any declaration. It was the silence of a predator waiting for its prey to move first. And so began the war, the galaxy thought. It would win in days. A war it would soon learn it could never. Understand, the humans had spoken only once, and in that single message the galaxy realized too late what the words truly meant. Humanity wasn't fighting for conquest. They were fighting for survival. The void of space was silent, except for the faint hum of human sensors scanning the incoming fleet. In orbit around Mars, Commander Nathan Reyes stood on the bridge of the orbital command station Atlas, his eyes fixed on the holographic display floating before him. Thousands of alien ships, miles long, moved in calculated formation toward the inner solar system. The Council had declared war, and now they believed the outcome was inevitable. They had no idea how wrong they were. Reyes's voice was calm but firm. "Status report." Lieutenant Maya Voss stepped forward, fingers dancing over a control panel. "They've deployed their entire first wave. Battleships, carriers, scout drones. They're moving into the asteroid belt. But sir, the shields are holding. Our new array is fully operational." "Good," Reyes said. His mind raced, running through the strategy Earth had been developing in secret for decades. The galaxy thought humans were primitive. They had no idea that Earth had been preparing not for diplomacy alone, but for survival against the most powerful fleets in existence. The first wave of alien ships entered the inner system, their sensors sweeping for targets. From the orbit of Jupiter, the fleet scanned the solar system. Their readings showed nothing unusual. Mars appeared abandoned, Earth's fleet undetectable, communications silent. The aliens had counted on human panic. Instead, they met silence. "Sir," Voss said, her voice tight. "They're breaking formation." Reyes leaned forward. "Explain." "Coordinates are shifting. Their own ships are colliding. Sensors can't lock on. Systems are failing. It's like space itself is rejecting them." He frowned. "Prepare the interceptors. Deploy the sentries." Below in the orbital platforms, human engineers activated the sentries, small autonomous drones equipped with electromagnetic rail cannons and stealth systems. The sentries did not just fly, they disappeared into gravitational shadows, moving between the asteroids and planetary belts as though they had always belonged there. From the alien perspective, the attack came without warning. 1 second, a cruiser's bridge was lit with information. The next, a sudden burst of magnetic energy sliced through the hull. The ship disintegrated in moments. There was no escape. The fleet panicked. Commanders tried to regroup, but their navigation systems failed to account for the rapidly changing gravitational fields. Reyes observed it all silently. "They think they are superior because of size and technology," he said. "But they have not faced humans before. They do not understand improvisation." The first alien ships turned on each other, their automated targeting systems confused by the human algorithms interfering with communications. A destroyer fired, and instead of hitting the human drones, it accidentally targeted its own wing. Explosions bloomed in the void, reflected in the silent metal of the other ships. On the Council observation decks, alien strategists screamed. Tarn Vel, one of the most respected analysts, tried to keep calm as he reviewed the live feed. "Their ships, they are adapting. Each strike we make is mirrored and countered. It's as if the humans are predicting our moves before we even make them." Valrith, seated at the head of the chamber, slammed his crystal gavel. "Impossible. No species can manipulate spacetime like this. They are mere humans. They should not survive this long." "They do more than survive," Vel whispered, staring at the monitors. "They are studying us. Every maneuver, every weakness, and they are learning faster than we can respond." Back in Mars orbit, Reyes activated a secure channel to Earth's secret command network. Holograms of Earth's hidden facilities appeared, showing the quantum-linked intelligence nodes scattered across the planet. This was humanity's hidden strength, the Black Archive, a global system that had integrated alien relics recovered from deep space missions, reverse-engineered with human ingenuity. The aliens believed humans had no interstellar capabilities. In reality, humans had been quietly learning to bend physics itself. Lieutenant Voss looked at the projections, her eyes wide. "Sir, the fleet is disappearing again. They are being drawn into something," Reyes nodded. "The gravitational harmonics. The grid is collapsing their formation. They cannot adapt, not fast enough." The alien ships moved blindly, their quantum engines failing intermittently. Communication networks were compromised not by direct attack, but by code infiltrations that rewrote their software mid-flight. Humans had designed programs capable of anticipating alien responses, turning the enemy's own technology against them without revealing a single human move. A single transmission managed to escape the confusion, broadcasting back to the Council chamber. "This is Earth Command. You entered our skies. You will leave them only as a memory." In the Council, delegates reacted in horror. Some screamed, some fell silent, and some muttered prayers in their native tongues. Valorith's glow dimmed as he stared at the projection of the solar system. "How can they do this? They are not supposed to possess such capabilities." "They are humans," Tarn Vel said. "They are unpredictable. That is their power." And now we see it fully. On Earth, civilians had no idea of the scale of the battle in their solar system. They went about their daily lives while the fleets clashed in silence above. Children played under blue skies, oblivious to the chaos in orbit. And families walked through city streets unaware of the fleets hiding in gravitational shadows, ready to strike. Humanity's strategy relied on patience and concealment, striking only when the moment was right. Reyes turned to his team. "Prepare the second wave. Ensure all systems remain hidden. They think they are hunting us, but they are being led into the trap. Voss's hands moved quickly. Coordinates for the ambush are set. The drones are ready. The interference field is at full capacity. Hours passed. The Council fleet became desperate, attempting maneuvers that no species had ever attempted before. Their formations shattered as humans continued to manipulate gravity and quantum fields, confusing their sensors and causing entire battle groups to self-destruct. The silence from Earth was terrifying. The humans did not broadcast, they did not taunt, they did not flee. Every move was calculated, precise, and hidden. Their intelligence was a living shadow across the battlefield. At the head of the council, Valrith finally spoke, his voice low, almost a whisper. We have never faced a species like this. They are not animals. They are not simple minds. They are strategists. They are worse, Vel said quietly. They are students of war, and they have learned every lesson of survival that we thought unique to ourselves. Reyes watched the alien fleet, noting the confusion and fear in the readings. He allowed himself a small nod of satisfaction. They came for war believing it would be easy. They will leave with knowledge of what humans can do. In the shadows of Mars' orbit, the first wave of human drones reappeared briefly, striking with silent precision. Alien ships disintegrated under magnetic pulses and rail strikes. No warnings, no communication, only disappearance and devastation. The Council scrambled to respond, sending entire sectors to intercept the humans, but their fleets were already slipping through gravitational corridors that humans had mapped decades ago. Every maneuver was anticipated, every strike countered. Sir, Voss said finally, her voice tight with awe, they can't hold. They won't survive this. Reyes shook his head. They already have survived. They just don't know it yet. And they won't until it's too late. Back in the council chamber, Valrith stared at the projections of his fleet's losses. Thousands of ships had vanished, systems destroyed from within, crews incapacitated by technologies they didn't understand. The chamber trembled with whispers of panic, some delegates openly weeping. Humanity is not primitive, Tarn Vel said softly. They are a lesson, and the galaxy has ignored it for too long. A signal flashed across the human command network. A message from Earth's black archive scrolled silently. Observation complete. We will not act unless threatened further. Your moves are now predicted and countered. In orbit, Reyes smiled faintly. They wanted an easy war, he said. They chose to declare it on us. Now they will learn why humans survive. The alien fleets, once confident and enormous, now scattered like frightened prey. Some tried to retreat, but even retreat was impossible. The humans had anticipated it. Every exit point, every hyperlane had been calculated, and through it all Earth remained calm, silent, untouchable. The galaxy believed it had declared war. But in truth, humanity had been preparing for this day longer than any alien species could imagine. Their technology was hidden, their fleets invisible, and their strategy flawless. The first battle for the solar system was over in less than a single rotation of Jupiter. Thousands of alien ships were gone, their crews incapacitated, and the Council was left staring in disbelief. Humanity had shown its hand only once, and the galaxy realized for the first time that humans were not just survivors. They were something else entirely. They were the students of war and the masters of survival. The silence in space that followed was worse than any attack. It was a warning. Humanity had not yet struck. Yet the galaxy already trembled. The war had begun. But the Council had no idea what it was really facing. Humanity had been waiting for this moment for centuries, and now it had come. The Galactic Council chamber was quieter than it had ever been. Thousands of delegates, representing worlds older than stars themselves, whispered among themselves in fear. For the first time, the immense authority of the Council had been shaken. Reports from every sector were arriving, and they all told the same story. Fleets were disappearing. Entire colonies were losing communication. Key trade routes were gone. The galaxy was beginning to realize that humans were not what they seemed. Valrith, the council speaker, glowed with an uncharacteristic agitation. The transparent crystal of his body shimmered in harsh pulses, betraying the calm he tried to maintain. He had declared war on Earth thinking it would be a simple demonstration of authority. He had expected compliance or at least fear, but not this. Tarn Vel, the council's chief investigator and strategist, was leaning over the holographic displays, running analysis on the incoming reports. His many eyes flickered as he studied the anomalies. "It is worse than we feared," he said softly. "Their actions are not random. Every strike, every disappearance, every fleet failure, humans are studying us. And they are adapting faster than we can respond." The delegates murmured, some recoiling at the realization. A few smaller species whispered to one another, terrified. "They are not just defending themselves," one said. "They are controlling the battlefield." Valrith slammed his gavel down, the sound echoing in the chamber like a distant quake. "Enough speculation. Humanity is small. Their world is insignificant compared to the thousands under the Council. They cannot, will not win this war." Vel shook his head slowly. "It is not a matter of size or firepower anymore. They are rewriting the rules. Their technology, their strategy, it is unlike anything we have seen." On Earth, Commander Nathan Reyes watched the solar system on the displays inside Atlas Station. The Council fleet had been trying to regroup for days, but their attempts were failing. Alien ships that had once moved with precision now collided mid-space, their engines failing, their weapons misfiring. The humans had not even deployed their full force. Reyes' second-in-command, Lieutenant Maya Voss, studied the tactical displays. "They are not just intercepting us," she said quietly. "They are learning us. Every maneuver we anticipate is being countered before we even see it coming." "That is exactly the point," Reyes said. "We are not just defending. We are showing them what happens when you underestimate humans. Every move they make now is being recorded, analyzed, and folded into their own failures. They believe they are attacking us. In truth, they are being studied." Far away in the void beyond the solar system, the first Council fleets began to break apart under human influence. Communications failed. Quantum guidance systems became unstable. Entire formations self-destructed without explanation. Alien crews did not know if they were under attack, under sabotage, or under the influence of forces they could not even perceive. Inside the Council chamber, Fel pulled up an archive of human history for the delegates. Images of Earth's wars, revolutions, and recovery efforts appeared as holograms. "They have survived catastrophes we would never endure," Vel explained. "They have rebuilt from ashes, restructured societies overnight, and learned from every mistake. The humans do not fear death. They use it to evolve." A representative of the crystalline planet Shylaris clicked his mandibles in disbelief. "You're suggesting that these humans are capable of surviving against the Council fleets? Against us?" Vel nodded grimly. "They are not only surviving. They are turning the galaxy's own weapons against us, and they do it with precision and patience. Their strategy is invisible. They strike without warning, vanish without trace, and leave chaos in their wake." At Atlas Station, Reyes and his officers prepared for the next phase. They activated the orbital sentries, the stealth drones that moved like shadows across the solar system. These drones were programmed not just for attack but for disruption. Every alien system, from navigation to communication, could be manipulated by the human networks without revealing a single human signature. Lieutenant Voss leaned over her console. "Sir, the next wave is approaching." "Do we engage?" Reyes shook his head. "No, let them come closer. They believe they can challenge us now. They have no idea we control every corridor, every gravitational path. Every attack they make strengthens our understanding of their strategy. We are the predator. They are only the prey they think they are hunting." On the outskirts of the solar system, alien commanders felt the first true panic. Ships that had entered the system expecting easy victory were failing faster than they could react. The more they tried to communicate or coordinate, the worse the chaos became. Signals were intercepted and rerouted, guidance systems manipulated, quantum drives destabilized. Entire fleets vanished without warning. Back in the Council chamber, Valrith's anger was growing. "We sent thousands of ships, the finest in the galaxy, and yet they have achieved, what, nothing? Or perhaps everything?" Vel's eyes flickered as he responded. "Everything. Every species here is realizing that humans are more than their size, more than their technology. They are intelligence, adaptability, and unpredictability combined, and we have underestimated them." One young delegate representing a water-based species whispered in panic. "They are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. How do we fight a species we cannot see, cannot track?" Vel sighed. "We cannot. That is the lesson we are learning. The humans have weaponized patience and prediction. They do not strike without purpose. Every movement we make is studied and exploited. By the time we understand their method, the damage is done. Meanwhile, on Earth, civilians were still unaware of the war unfolding above their heads. They continued their daily routines, oblivious to the fleets moving in the void and the silent battles being fought over their skies. Human drones operated invisibly, hidden from sensors, striking only when necessary. The Council fleets could detect neither pattern nor origin, only destruction that appeared without cause. Reyes watched the systems in orbit, noting the spread of interference across alien networks. They thought they could intimidate us with numbers and firepower. They thought they could force compliance. They do not understand that numbers mean nothing when the enemy adapts faster than you can strike. Voss shook her head in disbelief. It is terrifying. They are everywhere and nowhere, as Vel said. How do we stop them? They won't stop, Reyes said. We are not stopping them. We are teaching the galaxy a lesson. They declared war on Earth because of fear and pride. Now they are learning that humans are not prey. They are students of survival, and they do not forgive ignorance. Across the galaxy, transmissions began to leak back to other Council systems. Colonies reported disappearing fleets, lost communications, and inexplicable chaos. Panic spread faster than any human strike. Entire star systems were cutting ties with the Council in fear, seeking protection from an enemy they could not comprehend. Humanity had become more than a planet. It was a symbol of unpredictability, a force that no empire had ever faced. Vel stared at the data feeds, his many eyes reflecting the streaming chaos. They are teaching the galaxy fear, he said softly. And fear spreads faster than fire. Every species that ignored the humans is now trembling. They are realizing the Council is not invincible. They are realizing that the humans may be untouchable. Valrith glared at Vel. You speak of fear as though it is a weapon. It is not enough. Humanity is small. They cannot hold against the combined might of the Council. Vel shook his head. They do not need to hold. They only need to survive while the Council destroys itself with arrogance and assumption, and they are doing exactly that. In the void of space, human ships continued their silent hunt. They did not broadcast. They did not signal. They moved like shadows through corridors of gravitational anomalies, striking where the Council least expected. Entire fleets were rerouted into traps designed by Earth's orbital command. Human artificial intelligence integrated across the planet, adapted instantly to every alien tactic. Every attack the Council made was used to improve human defenses, turning their own technology against them. Reyes allowed himself a moment of grim satisfaction. They thought this would be a war of conquest, he said. They have not realized yet that it is already a war of understanding. They are learning the hard way what it means to underestimate humans. In the Council chamber, delegates stared at the reports in disbelief. Thousands of ships destroyed. Communications wiped. Colonies isolated. The galaxy was beginning to tremble. Valrith's glow pulsed with frustration. We must act. We cannot allow this to continue. Vel's voice was calm, almost cold. It is already too late. Every species in this chamber now knows that humans are unlike any enemy they have ever faced. And every species outside this chamber will soon know it as well. In the quiet shadows above Earth, human drones repositioned. They waited, silent, patient, invisible. Every Council move had been anticipated. Every attack had been absorbed and studied. The galaxy did not understand what it had provoked. And in that silence, fear spread faster than light. The humans had not yet struck fully, yet every world, every fleet, every delegate had begun to understand the truth. The galaxy was no longer confident. The galaxy was afraid. Humanity had only begun to teach its lesson, and the Council was running out of time. The Galactic Council chamber was a hive of unease. Holographic feeds flickered across the room, showing images of fleets failing, entire star systems going dark, and colonies disappearing from the map without explanation. Hundreds of alien species whispered urgently in overlapping tongues, their voices carrying fear and disbelief. Humanity, a single planet among thousands, had become the galaxy's most unsettling threat. Valrith, the Council speaker, rose from his elevated seat. His crystalline body pulsed with energy, and his voice rang across the chamber. Enough of this hesitation. We are the Council. We govern thousands of worlds. We have fleets that can crush planets in minutes. This human species is insignificant, yet they have turned our war into chaos. Prepare the sun spear. Deploy every strike capable of destabilizing a star. Soul itself will remind them of our power. A collective gasp spread across the delegates. The sun spear was an ancient weapon, a system older than most known civilizations, capable of reducing a star to instability with a single shot. Entire planets in orbit would be vaporized, their atmospheres torn into flames. Tarn Vel, the Council's chief strategist, spoke softly, almost to himself. They think threat alone will force submission, but they have already learned to survive against worse than we can imagine. The chamber went silent. Vel's words struck deeper than any display of force. The humans had not yet revealed their full capacity, and already the Council trembled. Thousands of light years away, Commander Nathan Reyes stood on the bridge of Atlas Station, watching the Sol system's perimeters. Alien fleets had regrouped, preparing for the ultimate strike. The Sun Spear was being activated. Lieutenant Maya Voss turned toward him. "Sir, they're attempting to fire on the sun. Sol is the target." Reyes nodded slowly. "Let them. It's exactly what we've been preparing for." The first Sun Spear weapon fired. A massive beam of energy, visible even from orbit, struck the solar surface. Stars in nearby systems trembled at the intensity. Council delegates cheered, confident in the destruction humanity was about to face. The beam, however, did not strike as expected. It fractured in mid-space, bending and twisting unpredictably. Instruments on the Atlas station detected gravitational anomalies around the sun itself, an artificial distortion manipulating the path of energy. The beam curved harmlessly around the inner planets and dissipated into the void. Voss stared in disbelief. "It didn't hit, it bent around the solar system. How is that possible?" Reyes's expression was calm. "Gravitational harmonics. We have studied this for decades. We learned from observing black holes and high-mass neutron stars. They fire with power, but we bend the rules of space itself. They will strike themselves if they continue." Back in the council chamber, the delegates watched in horror. Reports streamed in from every affected fleet. Not a single weapon had hit its intended target. Entire ships were knocked off course by invisible forces. Quantum cores destabilized as the humans manipulated gravitational fields across the system. Vel's eyes flickered across the displays. "They have predicted the Sun Spear's trajectory. They are controlling space itself around Sul. It is not brute strength we face. It is intelligence beyond anything in this chamber." Valrith's glow dimmed with fury. "Impossible. We are gods compared to these humans. We control fleets, weapons, fleets older than their species. How can they survive this?" "They survive because they have patience and precision," Vel said quietly. "They have watched the galaxy for centuries. Every flaw, every weakness, every arrogance we hold has been studied and mapped, and now we are the prey." On Earth, Reyes issued the next command. "Deploy Project Mirror." Voss's eyes widened. "Sir, are we ready to use it? It's untested on this scale." "We don't have a choice," Reyes said. "They want destruction. Let them experience reflection." Project Mirror, a planetary-scale defense network, had been constructed in secret. It could detect any energy-based attack entering the system and return it to its source, amplified several times. A warning signal was broadcast through quantum, channels reaching every fleet in the system. "Do not proceed." The Council ignored it. Pride and desperation fueled their final offensive. Entire fleets aligned for coordinated strikes, weapons primed, the Sun Spear's power reflected in every deployment. The first human sensors detected the assault moments before impact. The energy waves were analyzed, refracted, and multiplied. Within seconds, the Council fleet was obliterating itself. Beams of energy intended for Earth tore through alien ships, bouncing unpredictably and amplifying with devastating effect. Voss stepped back from her console, astonished. "They're destroying themselves with their own fire. Sir, it's incredible." Reyes nodded. "It's exactly as predicted. We never fight to destroy without purpose. We fight to survive, and to teach. They have chosen to challenge us with arrogance. Now they learn humility. Back in the council chamber, chaos erupted. Delegates screamed as real-time feeds displayed the destruction of their fleets. Entire sectors vanished within minutes. Some tried to flee, but human drones had anticipated hyperlane coordinates, guiding ships into traps or redirecting them into collisions. The council's pride and speed had become their undoing. Vel turned to Valrith. They are not fighting us for conquest. They are enforcing a lesson, and we are failing. Valrith's crystalline glow flickered. This cannot be. Humanity is small. Their planet is insignificant. Yet we are annihilating ourselves in the attempt to strike them. They are teaching us that size does not matter, Vel said. Strategy, patience, and intelligence matter. You have underestimated them for too long. Across the solar system, humans remained calm. The orbital stations repositioned silently, drones moving invisibly between planets and gravitational corridors. Not a single human ship had been lost. Not a single human life. And still, the fleet watched. Voss looked at the displays, stunned. Sir, they could have destroyed half of the council fleets without leaving orbit. And they haven't even revealed their full power yet. Reyes turned, his expression grim but satisfied. That's the point. Humanity's strength is never fully revealed until it must be. We fight not with the hope of victory alone, but with certainty that survival requires intelligence, patience, and understanding of our enemy. We are teaching the galaxy that declaring war on Earth is a mistake they will never live down. Inside the council chamber, delegates whispered frantically. Smaller species begged for withdrawal. Larger empires considered defection. Fear spread faster than fire. No one dared act. Humanity had become not a threat in the conventional sense, but a symbol of inevitability. Vel's gaze swept over the holographic displays one last time. They are not only surviving, they are shaping the battlefield, shaping our decisions, shaping our fear. Every move we make now is guided by the humans we thought we could destroy. Valrith's voice trembled as he spoke to the chamber. We may have underestimated them. Perhaps we cannot win this war. A wave of shock swept the council. Never before had a species so small and seemingly insignificant forced doubt into the core of their authority. In the void above Earth, human drones moved silently, undetected, a living shadow. Every council fleet that dared enter Sol's reach had already been countered, studied, and neutralized. Humanity had not even revealed its full arsenal. The first direct engagement of the war had ended in silence. Not the silence of retreat, but the silence of control. The humans had won not by brute force, but by precision, preparation, and intelligence beyond what the council had anticipated. Reyes looked out at the blue curve of Earth beneath Atlas Station. We never sought war, he said softly. We only sought survival. But now the galaxy understands that attacking us carries a cost it cannot pay. Voss nodded. Do they even realize that we have held back until now? They will, Reyes said. They will eventually. And when they do, it will be too late to change the lesson we have begun to teach. Above the council, panic spread like wildfire. Communication lines failed, fleets disintegrated, and empires reeled. Humanity had demonstrated that the war could not be won through numbers, arrogance, or even ancient superweapons. The humans had revealed only a fraction of their power. Yet it was enough. The turning point had arrived. The galaxy, for the first time, realized it had misjudged Earth, and the humans waited calm and patient to see what the next mistake would be. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so quiet. Thousands of delegates representing countless worlds, once confident in their authority, sat frozen in disbelief. Holographic feeds projected the ongoing chaos in the Sol system. Entire fleets had vanished. Colonial outposts were silent. Even the most senior council members who had survived wars older than humanity itself were whispering fearfully. The humans had proven that size, technology, and tradition meant nothing against their intelligence, strategy, and patience. Valrith, the council speaker, stood at the head of the chamber. His crystalline body pulsed unevenly, energy flickering like lightning trapped in stone. He tried to speak, but his voice came out tight, strained. We have underestimated them. A single planet, a single species has brought our fleets to ruin. How is this possible? Tarn Vel, the Council's chief strategist, leaned over the holographic display running simulations in real time. It is possible because they never fight like anyone else. They do not rely on sheer force but on prediction, adaptation, and patience. Every move we have made against them has been anticipated and neutralized. A representative of the aquatic world of Lyrathis whispered, barely audible. They are gods of strategy, Vel shook his head. No, they are humans. And humans, unlike any species we have encountered, learn faster than we can imagine. They do not fear death or failure, they use it. They adapt, they survive, and they teach others to respect them, whether they want to or not. Far above Earth, Commander Nathan Reyes observed the remnants of the Council fleets on the tactical displays aboard Atlas Station. Ships that had once glimmered like constellations now drifted lifeless, their crews incapacitated or destroyed by systems they could not comprehend. Lieutenant Maya Voss adjusted the sensors, tracking the final movements of the Council's armada. Sir, they've begun evacuations. Hyperlanes are jammed. Systems are cutting ties. No one wants to risk being near Sol anymore. Reyes allowed himself a small grim smile. Let them leave. Let them think they have survived. They are learning the hard way that humans are not the prey. We do not fight for dominance. We fight for survival, for understanding, and for the safety of our planet. The galaxy will remember this lesson forever. On Earth, civilians remained unaware of the cosmic battle unfolding in orbit and beyond. Children played in parks, workers moved through streets, and cities hummed with life, oblivious to the invisible war machines hiding above. Humanity's strategy relied on patience and secrecy. Every strike had been calculated to teach, to control, and to protect life rather than destroy it. In orbit, the final phase of Project Mirror and the gravitational manipulation grid was activated. Council fleets attempting to strike from a distance found themselves rerouted into their own chaos. Energy beams reflected unpredictably, collisions magnified, and navigation systems failed. Ships that attempted escape were redirected into dead zones where they could no longer communicate with one another. Vel turned to Valrith. They have not even engaged their full force yet. What you see is only the first wave of their strategy. They are capable of much more. Valrith's glow dimmed to nearly nothing. How can such a small species possess this level of control? They have learned from every mistake we made. Every flaw in our fleets, every weakness in our formations, they have exploited it. How do we respond? Vel's eyes flickered across the reports. We cannot respond as we normally would. We cannot overwhelm them. That is the lesson. And it is being taught to every species in this chamber. We must negotiate or we face further annihilation. The chamber erupted in whispers. Delegates were no longer angry or defiant. Fear had replaced it. No one wanted to be the next casualty of Earth's hidden power. Even the largest empires had begun reconsidering their stance. Meanwhile, in orbit above Mars, Reyes and his team prepared for the next maneuver. Phase 2, he said softly. It's time the galaxy fully understands the cost of arrogance. Voss's fingers danced across the control panel. Sir, the human fleet is ready, but we could annihilate the Council if we wanted to. Are we certain we want to escalate further? Reyes shook his head. We do not seek destruction. We seek respect and survival. Every strike has been about control, teaching, and deterrence. The Council fleets will not attack Earth again. Not for a long time. That is enough. Despite this, the humans needed to solidify the galaxy's understanding. Small drones were dispatched to nearby Council sectors, delivering clear and unavoidable messages. Ships and satellites intercepted every incoming communication. Human symbols broadcast across every frequency. The messages were simple. Humanity survives. Humanity adapts. Humanity prevails. Back in the Council chamber, chaos turned to panic. Entire fleets were accounted for as destroyed or incapacitated. Colonies sent desperate pleas for withdrawal. Delegates realized that Earth had not even directly fired a single attack salvo. Every strike was calculated, indirect, and precise. Humanity's strength lay not in brute force but in strategy, intelligence, and adaptability. Vel spoke again. We have faced countless wars, countless uprisings. None have been like this. No species has survived our fleets when we were fully engaged. But Earth is different. They are a species of survivors, and we cannot overcome them with our current understanding of warfare." The chamber fell silent. Valrith's voice trembled as he addressed the council. "We must negotiate. Humanity has proven we cannot win. We have underestimated them. We will withdraw from direct engagement." For the first time, thousands of voices in the chamber spoke in agreement. They began proposing treaties, withdrawal strategies, and recognition of human sovereignty. Fear had replaced arrogance. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. It had forced the galaxy to acknowledge its place, to respect it, and to reconsider the nature of conflict itself. Above Earth, Reyes watched the council's reaction unfold across the feeds. "They finally understand," he said quietly. "Not through fear alone, but through the certainty that humans survive when no one else can. That is our power. That is our message." Voss looked out the viewing window at Earth below. "They will remember this forever, won't they?" "They will," Reyes replied. "Every empire, every colony, every fleet will remember. Humanity is not just a species. We are a lesson, and lessons once learned cannot be unlearned." In the council chamber, Valrith's glow dimmed completely. "We were wrong," he said, almost as if to himself. "We judged them as small, weak, insignificant. We failed to see that intelligence, patience, and adaptability are forces beyond any weapon." Vel nodded. "The galaxy has learned it today. The humans are not to be underestimated, and that knowledge may be the only thing that keeps them from annihilation in the future." As the council prepared to formally withdraw, the human fleet silently repositioned. Not a shot had been fired in direct combat. No human lives had been lost. Yet every empire, every fleet, every colony had learned the same lesson. The final transmission from Atlas Station was simple, clear, and calm. It echoed through quantum channels to every corner of the galaxy. "We do not seek conquest. We do not beg. We survive, and we adapt. Let this be the lesson for all who would underestimate humanity." The chamber went silent. Delegates stared at one another, unable to comprehend how such a small species had forced the galaxy to reconsider centuries of authority and pride. Humanity had not conquered with fire or weapons. Humanity had conquered with intelligence, strategy, and the certainty of survival. Back on Earth, life continued as normal. Civilians went about their day, oblivious to the fleets that had vanished, the war that had been declared, and the lesson that had been taught across thousands of light years. Humanity had survived the galaxy's greatest challenge, and in doing so had changed the interstellar balance forever. Commander Reyes turned from the viewing window, his face calm. "They thought war was a weapon, but we have shown them that intelligence, patience, and adaptability are stronger than any fleet, any weapon, and any empire." Voss nodded quietly. "They will never forget this, will they?" "No," Reyes said. "And neither will we. Humanity has survived again, and the galaxy has finally learned what it means to underestimate us." The silence in space that followed was profound. It was not the silence of defeat, but the silence of realization. Every species in the galaxy now understood that humans were not to be trifled with. The council fleets retreated. Colonies rebuilt, systems recalibrated, and Earth continued to turn, blue and fragile, calm and unassuming. The center of a galaxy that had learned too late the cost of arrogance. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy with war. Humanity had conquered it with certainty, and the galaxy would never again underestimate the species that survived. Against all odds, the lesson was clear. Humanity did not beg. Humanity did not yield. Humanity warned, and the galaxy finally understood. The war had ended, but the story of Earth had only begun.